think yes. As I mentioned, because of the pressure of on traditional ops and the pressure on runs, I witnessed that many customers started to think about digital printing that they never adopted before, and they are thinking now or took decision to buy this even during the pandemic, because simply it's relatively not big risk or big investment. Meanwhile, it can add a lot of applications, add new customers to them, profitability. We as Canon, we as well, to answer this question, we commissioned a very interesting insight report that was launched, I think, a couple of weeks ago, is answering the point how the print service providers is impacted because of this printing. And actually, interestingly, we made the insight report not about the print service providers. We made it about the communication, marketing communication buyers, like marketing managers, marketing directors, marketing head, who decide which communication channel they use, and who decide what volume goes to the printing. And we found that good news that still 97% of them, we surveyed more than 230 leader in marketing. 97% still considering printing part of their communication channel. But what we witnessed as well, that they are expecting more print service providers to help them to adopt more technology and to help them to guide how to adopt printing communication in the mix of digital communication. Now everyone is online. We are online. We are talking about printing and we are online. Hopefully we can do this face to face in a very short time, but we are all online. So everyone is pushing towards online. So where is printing in that? So still people believe in printing and printed communication because it leaves emotions, it leaves a value. It shows the customer that who received the printed communication that he's special. But how the print service provider support marketing leaders to adapt the printing in the communication or the communication mix or channel mix, this a big role that the print service provider has to play and has to adapt and has to learn and has to educate himself or herself how to do this. So this, to be honest, is a big topic, and I am inviting everyone as well to read this insight report, because it's really interesting to know how marketing people who use printed marketing communication think about printing and what we should do as vendors and print service provider to support them.
Thank you, Ayman. Halim, what about HP customers?
See, the way we see it is really like digital signage stood out very well during that period and even demonstrated high level of resistance, like some of the application like COVID application, what we mentioned, during the discussion earlier. When it comes to decoration, as HP, we've been developing the decoration segment since quite a long time. And with COVID and the lockdown and, all the restriction of movement what we faced, that sector, we saw it grew significantly via the online market, and with the help of the tools that we provide with our product as HP. That was of very good help to the PSP to grow in that segment, even during that critical situation or extraordinary situation. So to some extent, yes, I do agree with Ayman. There was some new opportunities that were opened during this pandemic.
Okay. Great. Philippe, which segments in particular stood out for you in the large format segment? Indoor,
right.
Outdoor, yeah.
Probably three segments. The more and more now people use partition to separate offices, etc. And so there was a big demand for these kind of partition, printed partition, acrylic and stuff. There was a lot of floor signage, something that it already existed, but there was a lot of emphasis on it. Floor graphics with the signage, etc., and also safety signages that goes on walls, that goes on benches, on seats, etc. So these are probably the three biggest applications that we saw growing. A lot of vinyl printing and a lot of need for vinyl printers, typically roll-to-roll vinyl printers. That's what I see. That's what we saw. Yeah.
Thanks, Philip. What about the Epson customer, Shihab? Where did they see new opportunities?
Yeah, actually, it's almost, I would say, the same. Actually, digital signage, actually, it's as Halim mentioned, it's really showing a very strong, especially after the couple of very difficult months at the beginning of the COVID, and with a lot of floor printing and a lot of guidance, I would say. And this was helping a lot. But in additional, which is something really to highlight, we have a very important segment which is growing very fast during the COVID, and we have even a growth comparing to last year, is our labeling printing. As Ayman mentioned, the short-run printing in general, it's becoming a really important factor because of the investment, because of the need as well, because of the different variable data, I would say, when you print it. So there is a lot of reason where we're becoming the label printing or the short run in general, people they started. And to be honest, this was our job, I would say. So everybody in this room, this was our challenge in the previous years, how to educate the customer and to give them a knowledge about the importance of converting to digital and the short run, and how we calculate for them the total cost of ownership and how they can save more, to be honest, if you look to a wider picture and to the total cost of ownership. And this was a little bit difficult, to be honest, before, because people, they still, especially in our region, again, I would say, they're still comparing with the conventional printing and how low the cost of printing, but they don't put in consideration the total cost of ownership. So anything related to a short run and converting from conventional to digital, this became really a good market for us in the last, especially in the last 6 months, I would say. So starting from the recovery point, and we have a very good demand on the label printing, on the short run printing, in addition to all the points that mentioned by the gentleman, like the digital signage, of course. We saw also a very important market, maybe worth highlighting here in this discussion. It's a new business, I would say. Again, used to be a very small, like to do some side business at home. Where people, they start finding an opportunity. You know, many people, they lost their jobs. Many people, they are feeling insecure, and they're trying to find a new business for themselves. Having, for example, a DTG machine, demand is again increased a lot in the last few months, because it's quite an easy investment, not very big investment. All of it, you need just an online platform and a couple of machines where you can produce, for example, a T-shirt, and this business can be done at home by people they're not really expert in the printing industry. So we saw a lot of demand on such an example. So not only the DTG, but any business which could be possible to be done at home, like, for example, the dye sublimation printers. Demand is a huge. Also, when it comes to printing, because of the education and even the business, most of them became remotely and from home. So the demand on these entry-level or consumer printers or entry-level dye sublimations also increased a lot in the last 6 months. So as I mentioned, it is very difficult to, but any crisis is having their opportunities as well. And I think we are here as a technology owners, if I'm allowed to say that. Because we own technologies, we develop product, and we have innovations. It's not about just selling the boxes. This is our job, actually, how to understand the market better, how understand the demand of the customer and the new way of business, I would say. Either it is an online, a hybrid, or going back to face-to-face, but the needs are different now than 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and nobody expected that even. So the faster we adapt with this new norm, I would say, and including a lot of new technologies and new solutions offered to our customers, I think will help all of us to grow this market again and go back to normal. Yeah, so I think I just wanted to add this couple of segments in the end user point of view.